Republicans of not caring about veterans, of not caring about hardworking people, of not caring for children who rely on SNAP benefits for food. And yet here they are, unwilling to compromise, even though you had Senator Thune, you had House Majority Leader Johnson, even the president. All three leaders on the Republican side have signaled that they're willing to negotiate with Democrats as it pertains to health care, as long as we leave the government open. So why wouldn't my Democratic friends want to do that? And even the New York Times, for goodness sakes, wrote a column that came out 2 days ago that said this is actually a clean CR. And yet Democrats are saying it's not. They're playing politics. It's a bit hypocritical. If the government stays shut down, the blame rests with Democrats.
Bakari, I'm betting you have a different view.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that I love Shermichael. We went to the same institution, but his argument is just flat out wrong. I mean, it's not the only talking points they have. I think most Americans look at the TV tonight and they're like, wait a minute. Republicans have the White House, they have the Senate, and they have the House of Representatives. They kind of own this. And everybody talks about the first CR, even the New York Times, Shermichael. I've been on TV a few times today, but they don't articulate or point out what happened between then and now. We had this big, beautiful bill. And what people don't point out is after the passage of the big, beautiful bill, what's going to happen? They put insane cuts on people who are receiving Medicaid, which hurt federally funded health care centers. Cuts back on people getting Medicaid. They also eliminated the subsidies that go to individuals on the Affordable Care Act. What that means is that now those prices, those premiums are going to go up. And so the irony in this argument is that Democrats actually have a clear message of what they're fighting for. We're fighting for individuals to maintain their right to health care. Point blank, period. This isn't a procedural argument. This isn't anything else. We're fighting for those same individuals Shermichael laid out. We're fighting for them to have access to quality care. What we're seeing right now, though, is this authoritarian way of trying to overthrow some constitutional order. That was a lot of big words. I sounded like Hakeem Jeffries. I got to stop that. But what we're trying to do right now and what we see right now when individuals are going down this path is you have people like Russ Vought, who we don't even know who that is. None of the three of us voted for Russ Vought ever to do anything. But he is actually going in and cutting billions of dollars of funding just from blue states. Imagine if Barack Obama did that. Imagine if Joe Biden did that. Imagine if we had somebody who's an unelected bureaucrat go in and cut lawfully allocated funds from blue states. That is what authoritarians do. That's what they're doing now. And Democrats are simply fighting for health care. I've been very critical of Hakeem and Chuck, but I'm glad that they're showing the fortitude now to at least fight for something for the American people.
Shermichael, I see we're moving the goalposts a little bit here. Let's stick with the CR. There are typically around 4 CRs that are passed every single year, according to the Congressional Budget Office, going back 20-plus years now. Democrats have an opportunity to negotiate with Republicans on health care if they so choose. Now, Republicans are certainly not going to be in support of federal funds being used by states to cover emergency health care visits by illegal immigrants. And I'm willing to say that most of the American people will probably be in agreement with Republicans on that point.
True, though.
Bakari, it's absolutely true, because anytime someone who doesn't have health care and they're not a citizen, they go to the emergency room, the state uses state and federal funds to cover that cost. You know that as well as I do.
But that's not what we're talking about. That literally is not. First of all, let's just fact check this for one moment. Let's fact check this for one moment.
Go ahead.
Not
$1
that we're talking about. Not $1 that we're talking about is going to illegal immigrants. When we're talking about the cuts in Medicaid funds or federally subsidized health care centers, yes, when someone who doesn't have legal status goes to the emergency room, yes, they get care.
So then is that not coverage?
No.
Is that not coverage then, Bakari? At the baseline, is that not coverage?
No, it's called humanity. And if you want to argue with me on national TV, right now that someone who contributes or a person who contributes over $28 billion to our economy gets sick, gets in an accident, has a heart attack, goes to the emergency room, doesn't deserve care, you can rest on that laurel. But also what we're talking about are the Medicaid cuts.
I understand the appeals to emotion here.
Let me put a pin on it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me put a pin on it. The Medicaid cuts that we're talking about are keeping open those federally subsidized health care centers in poor and rural areas. That is what we're specifically talking about. Emergency room care, I would assume that me, you, and John can all agree, regardless on your status, you deserve to get treated when you're having an emergency.
All right, gentlemen. Well, let me hang on, Shermichael, because I want to move on to a different subject. I do want to say thank you. I want to say that Daniel Dale will be doing a fact check on some of these claims very shortly, so we're going to get to the bottom of some of this. But, Sir Michael, while I have you here, and before we go with this, I do want to ask you what you think about this video that Vice President Vance is celebrating right now, not just defending, but celebrating of Leader Jeffries. What do you think about that?
I mean, look, I think the message is quite clear and simple. What the administration is articulating, Democrats are for illegal immigrants, and Republicans in the administration are simply for the American people. We saw this sort of same symbolism visually in November of last year, in October of last year, when the president ran ads attacking the vice president saying she's for they, them, we're for you. It's the same thing.
All right, Sir Michael Singleton, Bakari Sellers, thank you all for being with us tonight. One thing I know America loves is discussions about CRs, almost as much as omnibuses. Appreciate it.
Thanks, John.
With Morehouse men,
Good to see you, Bakari.
Right. I'm glad we're all here for this reunion. I'm glad I was invited. Next, as we mentioned, more on the Medicaid question, who gets what kind of health care? Daniel Dale, as we said, keeping them honest. And later, leaked new details on Defense Secretary Hexeth's new plan for stopping the people close to him from leaking.